Alright guys, it is December 30th, the year of our Lord 2024, and a lot of things happened over the weekend. There was a president that died at 100 years of age. I'm wanting to say Cooper. I'm not 100% sure about that one. I don't have it looking at me, and I'm horrible with names. Dyslexic people they butcher names. They're horrible at them. So unless they're familiar with them. So that took place, I think, yesterday. There's a mysterious fog that's sticking around in the south. Around, a lot of people are reporting it around drone areas and in Texas and in Oklahoma. Not quite sure what all that's about, but people are saying they're getting sick shortly after being in it. Within a 24-hour period, they're getting coughs and colds and sore throat, just several issues. So that's weird. I have heard rumors. Now, this is just rumors. I don't know if this is true. But from the sounds of it, there are people in Congress already putting an implement to stop Trump from being inaugurated into office. And they're going to be doing this within the next few days, apparently. But the House and the Senate is mostly Republicans now, so I'm not quite sure where everything's going to go. But I'm going to say pray for this nation. We still need it. There's a lot of weird and wicked things going on right now. And we're not even to the storm yet. Just a build up before the storm. And apparently there's a new drug out on the streets that is 80% worse than the fentanyl laced pills. So yeah, it's going to be a wild January. But it's also going to be an extraordinary, probably 3 months, from January through March, possibly even into April. These guys do not want Trump in office because they are going to be Trump's team is going to go through and clean house. Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. They're going to clean house. And if you went against the American people, I feel sorry for you. If you knowingly and willingly violated civil rights, I feel sorry for you. because the judges, the attorneys, all of them that are doing these things to water down our Constitution, and the way they're doing it is watering down court cases. So therefore, more and more loopholes can be put in by law enforcement. So that's how they're strangling the Constitution. So we gotta fight. If we don't, what's the point? What's the point of all of this if we don't fight? I don't really care for the way our world is set up, the way our rules are set up right now. I can go through and find you 10 cases that says this right is 100%, and I can turn around and find 10 more cases that overturn the other ones, that contradict the other cases I just spewed out. So you can't definitively argue you have rights in this country right now, because the Supreme Court has allowed them to say, yes, this is a right, and then 10 years later, no, it's not a right. And it could be almost identical case. So where is our justice system at? We don't have one. So it's appalling where we're at. Everybody's so worried about themselves till no one cares about innocence anymore. And to be honest with you, the word being innocent means nothing. If someone else can lie to sustain themselves and throw you under a bus, whether you did it or not, that's what happens. Your truth, your innocence means nothing to anybody else but you. And that's where we're at. The Constitution is just something that a lot of people just wipe their butts with. And the sad thing is, a lot of people still don't understand how we got the Constitution. Did you know George Washington prayed 4 hours a day in the mornings? And then he'd go out and pray with his soldiers. Every meal they had, they prayed over. Did you know they turned around and before they went to bed, they prayed for another hour? And yet, we're so busy and caught up with our gadgets, we can't even spend 10 minutes with God. We're so busy. How do you think we got where we're at right now? Because we got so caught up in technology. I would rather be a barefoot hillbilly right now than a top CEO of anything. Because at least as a barefoot hillbilly, I can connect with the earth and connect with God. So corporation CEO isn't a godly man. I'm not saying that at all. But given the choice, I'd rather be a hillbilly. So, I'd rather own my own land. But here's the catch to that too. The land that you have is not yours. The land your parents gave you is not yours. The government can take it. The banks can walk in and take it. They can do whatever they want with it. They can sell it off to a big corporation, and the corporation can come kill you and take your land. Because they want to build a sewage plant. Because they want to put in a highway. They want to tear down your family's acreage to put in an oil pipeline. What do we really have? Nothing. So before you start saying, this is mine, that's mine, I bought and paid for this, I bought and paid for that, nothing is ever 100% yours. Your body is not yours, it's God's. Now you choose to close it off to God, that's your choice. But do not pretend that you are with God at that moment in time. When you don't want to listen to anything about God, you don't want to try to open your mind to believing in God, there's nothing anybody can do for you at that point. I saw a video today. A guy sat there and, you know, it's the same guy, but one guy's pretending, one of his selves pretending to be God, and the other one was being him. He's like, oh, I'm a follower of Christ, I believe in God and all this, and the other guy turned around and said, but I don't know you. He's like, but Lord, it's me. I've brought people to you, I've done this, I've done that. He's like, but you haven't worked for me. God will work through you, yes. And you will work for him, yes. But that's not the only thing that gets you in heaven. Because when you become a child of God, you are working for God at that moment in time. When your faith 100% goes to him, you are working for God at that moment in time. You may not hear anything from God for a while, but you are still working for him. So therefore, your works and your labors mean nothing without faith. So, and the only way to get to heaven, to see God, is through his Son, Jesus Christ. It states it there in the Bible. Look it up. Right now, everybody is so confused, so in so many different directions, they don't know what they can believe and what they can't believe. Now, we are going to have a short time. I don't know if it's 5 years, 10 years, a year. I don't know. But we're going to have a time where we're going to see what it actually would be like living under God's grace for a period of time. Now, what does that mean? It means what we want in heaven, we are going to need to want here on earth. Because God said, if you want it in heaven, then let it be on earth. If you want to be a slave on earth, why would you want, if you don't want it on earth, why would you want it in heaven? It's that simple. If you don't want it on earth, why would you allow it in heaven? So in heaven, we want all this racial divide. In heaven, we want all this fighting and bickering amongst ourselves because somebody has a better house than John down the road, or, you know, are we really going to be that petty? This is where problems come in. I try to be the simplest man I can be. And believe it or not, that's actually pretty hard to do. To be simple means not to judge, not rush to judgment. But yet, it's also not to sit back and do nothing. We're easy to call out faults. I'm one of them. But it's hard to present solutions for those faults. I'll be the first one to call out a cop for doing something bad. And I can turn around and tell you a better way of doing it. But here's the problem. It doesn't do any good to do either when the person doesn't want to change. So, or when the organization doesn't want to change. And at that point, the best thing to do is just disband the organization. So, we'll see what God has in store for law enforcement, the courts. Do we need them? Yes. Courts are needed in heaven. God judges people in heaven just like we judge people here on earth. And that is one job I would never want, because I could never feel comfortable with judging someone without living a day in their shoe, understanding what they went through and what mental problems they may have. I mean, we say murder is murder and no one's above the law, but it's okay for a cop to break and enter into your house without a warrant and without probable cause and shoot and kill your husband, and the officer doesn't get any charges. That's where I'm having problems. I know I bring this up on law enforcement all the time, but they're the ones with the most power, and on the street, the American people have no power. We can tell the cops the exact law, the exact statutes, and they ignore it. They don't care. So, what's the remedy? Get rid of them, unfortunately, and put in another system that actually holds the people accountable, that's in charge of enforcing law. So, there is that. But a lot of people tell me I'm wrong. I've been told I'm wrong all the time. And it's okay for certain class of people to go off and do whatever they want while everybody else has to toe a line. Rich people, they can defend their house, shoot an armed suspect breaking into their house, and the attorneys they can retain 100% won't spend time in jail. Poor people, same scenario. Can't afford an attorney, rotting in jail right now for defending their families. So you can't have the system bouncing around like that. So that's an injustice system. So, and I don't want that in heaven. So that's the reason I'm talking about it tonight. I grew up learning life's not fair. And it is not. But yet, all the unfairness that is given to you makes you understand. And it also makes you stronger. But the most important thing is it makes you understand. No one's going to put a helping hand out to you and help you in a time of need. There's a lot of times you're going to have to do that on your own. And that's a shame. So, just remember, what you want here on earth is what you're going to get in heaven. If we want corruption in heaven, you're going to get it here on earth. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want it in heaven. So you guys be safe. Have a good night. Have a happy new year. And pray. Even though you think we've got everything won and beat, still pray. We really need to be doing that. And remember, God loves you guys.